So we're just about at the end, Tyrell. So we may come from similar households, but no two households are alike. Why was it important for you to talk about your parents and the complexities of your relationships with them? I mean, for many of us, for many of us, our relationships with our parents, they're simple when we're younger, and then as we get older, they get steadily more complex the more we find out and the more things play out. But why was it important for you to talk about your mom and your dad and your relationships with them?
Because our parents are our first teachers, right? And they have the ability to shape and mold us. And I think that, like, for someone who see me now, they would want to know, like, how did Tyrell come to be, right? I came to be not coming from the most positive or the most healthiest of situations, right? But I also was able to take the best out of my mom and the best out of my dad, and to use those as a starting point of where I wanted to go, right? So my mom, as a single mom raising 4 boys and then 1 daughter, right? You realize that, and I say this in a book, like, she did everything possibly that she could have done to prepare us for the world. But even in that, there were still elements about her that she was not going to be able to teach me as a man, right? And to be able to realize that, and to still be open enough to have a relationship with my dad. And like I said, it wasn't that he presented the best example, right? But I learned so much from my dad indirectly about what to do and what not to do based upon the decisions that I seen him make, and not from a judgmental standpoint. But it was just like, and he said it to me before, and he was just like, Ty, would have never thought that this would have been your stance. I'm like, yeah, I learned so much from people, vicariously through their experiences. And I learned firsthand from my parents that way. So I wanted to describe it in the book to give you a better understanding of how Tyrell came to be, and realizing that, my upbringing, my household probably looks just like you and yours. And, take the best. Like, a lot of people put so much emphasis and pressure on our parents and blame. Like, listen, our parents are a result of what their parents gave to them and what their parents gave to them. And they grew up in a time period where people didn't have therapy, right? People didn't talk about problems. You just had to figure it out. So I've learned how to give grace. And, I want to tell everybody that through the story, learn how to give grace to your parents, man, and realize that, a lot of us as parents, or a lot of our parents, didn't have the luxuries that a lot of us do today to be able to go to therapy. Because remember, therapy used to be so taboo. You mentioned therapy, everybody, oh, you sick, you mentally messed up. Like, no, it's maintenance. Like, I love therapy, and I highly recommend therapy for everybody now. Even myself, I still regularly go to therapy. I love therapy. So, but that's why I wanted to talk about my parents, to realize how important both of them are, and realizing that, a mother's significance and a father's significance is very important into carving out the little individuals that we're responsible for making. And they both got to play a part.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's something I had to learn as well, because number one, the older you get, you start to learn that they're people too. Mm-hmm. And they have, feelings and weaknesses and histories of their own. Mm-hmm. And there are contradictions, in their lives, and the things that they teach you and the things that you've seen them do. There are contradictions. And then as you get older yourself, you start having your own experiences that don't necessarily line up with what their experiences were. So yeah, you learn that they are people, and most of them have done the best they can.
Yep.
They've done the best they can. And for some things, you may have to go outside of your family circle to learn or to acquire other knowledge sets, because there are limits to what all of us know. So no one can know everything. So a lot of kids fight with, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you teach me this? Well, maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was a different time when they were coming up. So